My fiancé, whom I'd never met, had a first love he was obsessed with and was constantly trying to break off our engagement. I tried to be reasonable. Don't you want to at least meet me before you decide? No need. The sooner we end this, the better. I don't want to get tangled up with you. I stared at the photo Larry had sent me on my phone. It was a picture of the girl he'd been secretly in love with for years. A small smile played on my lips as I typed back, fine. Just don't regret it. Larry, if I regret it, I'm a dog. Later, when my fiancé was switched to his older brother, Larry snuck in through my window in the middle of the night and climbed into my bed. A fluffy little dog tail wagged behind him as he put on his best gigolo act. Hey, sis-in-law. It's me, your brother-in-law. Can I come in tonight? On my 25th birthday, my father, all the way back in the States, dropped a bomb on me, the family's bankrupt. Come home for an arranged marriage. Then he immediately sent me a contact. The speed was so fast, it felt premeditated. But on the video call, my dad was a mess of snot and tears. Honey, it's all my fault. I'm a failure. The future of our family rests on your shoulders now. You wouldn't want to see your mother and me sleeping under a bridge, would you? Sleeping under a bridge? Hell no. I quickly tapped on the contact. The profile picture looked like him. A guy in a racing suit, leaning casually against a car, all narrow waist and long legs. Even in profile, he looked cool and wild, totally my type. At least my dad still cared enough to not set me up with a total dud. I sent the friend request. Larry accepted almost instantly. I took the initiative. Hi, I'm Vivian. His reply was cold, Larry. Me, since we're getting married, I think we should get to know each other. Larry, no need. I'm in love with someone else. I will absolutely not marry you. Oh, so he was laying down the law right from the start? As if I was dying to marry him. I was about to tell him to get lost. But then the image of my dad's tear-streaked face popped into my head. I swallowed my pride and kept typing. We haven't even met. Are you sure you're this unhappy with me? Larry, it wouldn't make a difference. We're not a match. I'll find a way to break the engagement. I expect your cooperation. Break the engagement? No. Absolutely not. I refuse to give up, my fingers flying across the screen. Do we really have to break it off? I'm actually quite pretty, you know. Probably just as good as her. I guarantee I'll make you look good. That didn't feel like enough. I followed up with a crying cat sticker. Larry, your looks have nothing to do with me. Besides, she's not just beautiful. She's gentle and kind, a literal angel on earth. Wow, so Larry was a total simp. There's no arguing with a simp, so I just sent a polite, oh. Larry shot back instantly. What do you mean, oh? What? You don't believe me? A second later, my phone buzzed with an incoming photo. The thumbnail showed a girl. Probably the angel Larry was talking about. All I did was say oh, and he was already this desperate to defend her. The world of a simp is truly impossible to penetrate. Sorry, Dad. Looks like we're destined for that bridge after all. My heart sank as I opened the picture. In the photo, a girl was crouching in a corner, her white dress smudged with dirt. She was feeding a stray orange cat. She looked beautiful, pure. The angle was perfect, a flawless shot. But isn't this the picture I posted on my Finsta when I was at Columbia, trying to get the attention of that aloof grad student? How does Larry have it? A moment later, a voice message from Larry came through. His voice was sharp and cold, but his tone was surprisingly smug. See? Isn't my dream girl gorgeous? Don't feel too bad about yourself. After all, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone more beautiful in this world. I've been in love with her for years. In love? Now it was my turn to be stunned. I racked my brain, combing through 2 years of college memories. There was no Larry in any of them. Why 2 years? Because I was bored out of my mind in Hong Kong, so I decided to go to Columbia for college, pretending to be poor just for fun. To keep my cover, I even changed my name to Vivi Shen, using my mom's last name. Eventually, I got bored of that too. Plus, I'd been chasing that aloof grad student for 3 months with no luck. And on top of that, Columbia's PE final required women to run a mile. So, I just packed my bags and jetted off abroad. And I'd been gone for 5 years. My thoughts snapped back to the present. I curled my lip and offered my critique. She is pretty. But not as pretty as me in person. Larry exploded. Not as pretty as you. Lady, who do you think you are, some kind of goddess? He called me lady. Just you wait. My fingers flew. Look, Larry, I might as well tell you. All these years abroad, I've actually been studying astrology and divination. My dad showed me your birth chart. And based on your chart and this girl's face, your chances together in this lifetime are slim. Larry immediately sent a frantic voice message. What do you mean, slim? Why should I believe you? Me, this girl went to college in New York, right? But based on her features, she probably didn't finish. She's likely abroad now. Are you for real? You can actually read faces? Larry took the bait. You said our chances are slim. Is there any way to fix it? I didn't reply right away. I put down my phone and slowly peeled an orange. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Larry, tell me. Hello? Why aren't you answering? If it's slim, what should I do? Hello? 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 I leisurely wiped my fingers clean and replied. You know how it is, Larry. We have certain rules in this line of work. Larry, you have received a 15,000 transfer. Damn, Larry was generous. I happily accepted the money and replied. The solution is, you and I get married. Larry, you dare to scam me. I'm breaking it off. I'm breaking off the engagement. That's what he gets for calling me lady. But honestly, Larry didn't waste that 15,000. I gave him the right answer, he just refused to believe it. I popped an orange slice in my mouth and typed. This marriage is a deal between our families. You can't call it off by yourself. Larry, don't give me that family crap. I'd rather die than marry you. Me, are you sure? You're absolutely set on breaking it off. Larry, that's right. The sooner we end this, the better. I don't want to get tangled up with you. Me, fine, go ahead. Just don't come back regretting it. Larry, if I regret it, I'm a dog. I booked a flight back to the States. When Chloe heard I was returning, she insisted on coming with me, complaining it had been too long since she'd been home. My family had only moved to New York in the last couple of years. But Chloe was a local. The night we landed, Chloe dragged me to a party. Her friends were mostly rich second and third generation trust fund kids. I didn't really want to go, but given my family's current situation, making a few connections couldn't hurt. But the moment I pushed open the door to the private room, I ran right into someone who was trying to leave. The door swung open again, bringing a gust of wind. Fuck. Who the hell is out there? You got a death wish? The words died in his throat. The man's forehead was red from the impact. He just stared at me, looking a little dazed. Chloe tugged on my arm and whispered, "Don't mess with him. That's Larry. The youngest son of the Greens. He's got a notoriously explosive temper." I looked at the guy in front of me. High nose, thin lips, fair skin, long legs. He was wearing a black windbreaker that made him look cool and arrogant. He was 100 times more handsome in person than in his picture, but there was something oddly familiar about his style. That shouldn't be right. A guy with Larry's height and looks would be unforgettable in any crowd. How could I have no memory of him? I rushed forward. I'm so sorry. Are you hurt? My hand accidentally brushed against the back of his. Larry's whole body tensed up as if he'd been electrocuted. No, I'm fine. He couldn't even look at me, his ears turning bright red. It was my fault for blocking the way. You were right to hit me with the door. His well-defined fingers gripped the doorframe, and he pushed it a little closer to me. Want to hit me again? Chloe's eyes went wide in disbelief. What the hell is happening? They called it a private room. But it was a whole other world inside. You had to walk down a corridor just to get to the actual party space. The whole way, Larry led us. And the whole way, he glared daggers at Chloe's hand linked with mine. Chloe shivered. Is it just me, or did it suddenly get really cold? I smiled and shook my head, then deliberately tucked Chloe's hand into my coat pocket and held it. There. Warmer? Chloe cooed, babe, you're the best. I snuck a glance at Larry out of the corner of my eye. Sure enough, his face was even stormier. Larry was actually jealous of a woman. We're here. Larry pushed open the heavy door with one hand, smiling like a cheap but attentive male model. Chloe whispered, what's gotten into Larry today? He's actually holding the door for us. If this were any other time, if someone had bumped into him, he'd have flattened them against the wall. Someone sitting on the edge of the group saw Larry first. Larry, man, I thought you got bored and left. What brought you back? Larry shot him a death glare, and the guy immediately shut up. When he saw me looking, he put on an innocent face. Chloe pulled me over to introduce me. Everyone. This is my best friend from my time abroad. Her name is. My name is Vivi, I cut in. You can all just call me Vivi. Chloe gave me a puzzled look but didn't say anything more. Chloe led me to a spot in the middle, slightly to the left. There was only room for 2 people. The vibe in the room was great. Except for Larry. He was sitting in a corner, looking like an abandoned puppy. Babe, I'm gonna step out and take a call. Chloe stood up. I had just nodded when, before I could even react, a dark shadow shot over to me. He still had that cool, arrogant look on his face. This seat's not taken, right? Larry answered his own question, guess I'll sit here, then. And with that, he plopped down. I fought the urge to roll my eyes and greeted him. Hi, I'm Vivi. I didn't get a chance to ask your name earlier. Larry looked at me, his expression wounded. Vivian, you really don't remember me? I froze. Vivian? What the hell? Seeing my lack of reaction, Larry's voice fell. I'm Adrian's little brother. We met before. Many times, actually. Adrian? As in, the aloof grad student from Columbia I never managed to win over? The floodgates of my memory burst open. An image instantly appeared in my mind, a tall, chubby high school kid in a face mask, always trailing after Adrian. My eyes widened as I looked at the handsome face in front of me. Oh, it's you. It's been a few years. You've gotten so tall and handsome. My praise made Larry blush, and he shyly looked down. So, you like it? Better than my brother? I didn't quite hear him. What did you say? Just as Larry was about to speak, a woman's teasing voice cut in. Hey Larry, I heard that Vivian is a real piece of work. You're about to be engaged to her, yet you're sitting so close to this pretty lady. Be careful Vivian doesn't find out and throw a fit. Talk about perfect timing. I immediately seized the opportunity, feigning surprise. You're getting engaged? Congratulations. Larry instantly became flustered. Vivian, don't listen to her. I'm not getting married to the Johnstons. I decided to sell myself. I actually met Vivian once when I was abroad. She's not just beautiful, she's also incredibly smart. A great match for an arranged marriage. Larry scoffed, so what? I'm not interested in her. Oh, not interested in me, huh? I looked him straight in the eye, my voice soft. Well, what do you think of me? Larry stopped breathing. He stared at me, looking like a total idiot. Then, the idiot nodded, his face bright red. I decided to mess with him. What a shame. Larry froze, his expression incredulous. What did you say? I shook my head. Nothing. So, what about your brother? Does he have a girlfriend? Larry asked cautiously, Vivian, do you still like my brother? His own question seemed to ignite something in him. I know what to do. He shot up from his seat, his eyes shining. Vivian, I've got something to take care of. I'm leaving now. With that, Larry bolted out of the room like he was on fire, leaving me completely bewildered. Later that night, after I got out of the shower, I finally understood what had lit Larry's fire. I stared at the messages from him, dumbfounded. You want me to switch fiancés and have you marry my brother? Larry was still typing furiously. So? Am I a good brother or what? My brother is the actual heir to the Green's fortune. I'm setting you up with the top-tier option. If you marry my brother, I promise you, whatever my dad promised your family, you'll get every single bit of it. Me, wait a minute. A few days ago, you were dead set on breaking off the engagement. Larry, my dad said no. He called me an idiot. Vivian, did you cast some kind of long-distance spell on my dad? Me, he's right, you are an idiot. System, you have retracted a message. Larry, what did you retract? I didn't see it. Me, if your dad won't agree, what makes you think your brother will? Adrian was the epitome of an ice king, incredibly private. The idea of him stepping in for his brother in an arranged marriage was absurd. I could tell you with my eyes closed he'd never agree. Larry, no way, my brother has always been great to me. He agreed as soon as I asked. What the hell? Adrian had changed that much in a few years? Then what was the point of my 3-month chase? I gritted my teeth, fine. It's a deal. Larry, it's a deal? You don't want to think about it or make some demands? A light bulb went off in Larry's head. Don't tell me, you've actually been in love with my brother this whole time? In love? You saw better than anyone how I threw myself at your brother. Oh, right. He's the clown in this situation, he still doesn't know. Larry's messages kept coming. Whatever. As long as you and my brother get together, my dad will back off. My brother isn't just tall and handsome, he's also mature and stable. You're getting a great deal marrying him. Huh, I'm getting a great deal, am I? Me, really? You're letting me have him this easily? Is that okay? Shy emoji, shy emoji, shy emoji. Larry, just so you know. And I'm warning you, if you ever do anything to cheat on my brother, I'll kill you. Got it? Me, your brother's so great, of course I wouldn't cheat. Larry, I'll send you my brother's contact info. Me, no need. I'm flying back tomorrow. Arrange for me to meet your brother in the evening. Larry, wow, you're eager. A voice message from Larry came through. He sounded incredibly happy and relaxed. Since you're going to be my sister-in-law, one of the family, I promise I'll find you two a super romantic and atmospheric restaurant. Guaranteed to get the sparks flying. Larry really did go all out. He booked the entire restaurant. It was on a top floor with the best panoramic view of the New York skyline. Vivian, right this way. Larry is already here. I nodded. The click-clack of my heels on the polished marble floor blended with the soft piano music. I followed the waiter's gesture and saw Adrian immediately. He was sitting by the window, wearing a black shirt. His expression was indifferent. The top 2 buttons of his shirt were undone, revealing a hint of his collarbone. Compared to the aggressive coldness he had 5 years ago, the Adrian of today was more like a snow-dusted pine tree, more mature, more alluring. A second later, as if sensing my gaze, Adrian turned to look at me. A flash of shock crossed his eyes. But I caught it. Good. I was very satisfied. No matter how cold and dismissive he was to me back then, now he had to sit obedient at the same table, having a meal with his arranged marriage partner. I smiled, walked over, and sat down across from him. Well, if it isn't my old college crush. Long time no see. Adrian quickly composed himself, his voice gentle. Should I call you Vivi, or Vivian, or? I leaned in closer, winking playfully. You could also call me Honey. The next second, my whole body went rigid. Adrian brushed a stray strand of hair from my lips. As he moved his hand, the faint scent of bitter orange drifted to my nose. Okay, honey. He pulled his hand back and pushed the menu toward me. See what you'd like to eat. I immediately sat up straight, taking the menu and pretending to study it. Help, wasn't I supposed to be the one teasing him? How did I end up the one getting all flustered? This guy doesn't play by the rules. No. I collected myself, lifted my chin, and pretentiously pointed out a few dishes to the waiter. Then I picked up my wine glass and took a delicate sip. The quality was excellent. Looks like Larry really splurged. Adrian was the first to speak. Regarding the change in fiancés, I apologize. Larry has been spoiled since he was a kid. He's unruly, and as his older brother, I share some of the responsibility. He stood up, a faint smile on his lips, and refilled my glass. I followed his movement with my eyes. Only then did I realize that the collar of his shirt was cut a bit too wide. When Adrian leaned over slightly, from my angle, the view underneath was completely exposed. He had a great body. Big where it should be big, pink where it should be pink, and what should be hard looked pretty hard, too. I looked up, my gaze landing on his cool, unaware face, and feigned grievance. But I was heartbroken when your brother broke off our engagement. Since you want to apologize on his behalf, how exactly do you plan on making it up to me? Adrian looked at me. His personality had softened a lot over the years. Anything you want, Vivian. As long as it's within my power. Is that so? I propped my chin on my hand, my eyes sweeping over the beauty mark on his collarbone as I smiled. Since we're about to be engaged, how about you let me inspect the goods tonight? After all, you're 29 this year. How am I supposed to know if you can still perform? The words were barely out of my mouth when Adrian's brow furrowed. I knew he wouldn't agree. This was payback for how cold he was to me back then. Now that I had the chance, I was going to milk it for all it was worth. I pulled my hand back, feigning regret. Right. It's normal for men at this age to have certain difficulties. I understand. Adrian's brow smoothed, and he smiled. Are you worried about our future married life, Vivian? Huh? How did we get to our married life? I raised an eyebrow. Of course. I mean, you're a 29-year-old man. You can't compete with the younger guys. Humph. I'd never lost a war of words. The phone next to me suddenly lit up. I glanced over. It was a notification from my home security camera. What a coincidence. I had just gotten back yesterday, and my parents had vanished. Our housekeeper, Sue, said my dad had taken my mom and gone into hiding to dodge creditors. But the teacup my dad always used was empty on the table, still warm. Besides, what kind of bankrupt family hiding from debts still lives in a mansion with a housekeeper? So I bought a new security camera and told Sue to go home and rest. I tapped the notification. Sure enough, there were my parents, sneaking into the house like a couple of thieves to grab the black card they'd forgotten last night. My mom was even wearing the multi-million-dollar pigeon's blood ruby necklace from last month's auction. It was impossible to miss. I knew it. The bankruptcy was a total lie. I shot up from my seat, a smile still on my face. Adrian, something's come up. I have to go. I didn't wait for a reply. I grabbed my bag and rushed out. Dad, you just wait. See how I deal with my dear old family tonight. My wrist was suddenly grabbed. Confused, I turned back. The next second, our eyes met. His eyes, dark as ink, were like a vast swamp, damp, sticky, and sinister. There was no way this was Adrian. I blinked in disbelief. What's wrong? Is something in your eye? His expression was cool and aloof again, as unattainable as ever. I must have been seeing things. I rubbed my eyes. It's nothing. My contact must have slipped. Will that affect your inspection tonight, Vivian? I froze, thinking I'd misheard. What did you say? He leaned in, stopping just inches from my face. The city lights glowed behind him, and the piano music swelled to a crescendo. My heart was pounding. I said, "Which hotel do you prefer?" He looked at me, his beautiful eyelashes trembling slightly. Or would you rather inspect the goods at home? Adrian's couch was black leather. Right now, it was glistening with moisture. Adrian had the long, nimble fingers of a pianist. I was being kissed so intensely my scalp was tingling. How do you know all this? I learned a few things from educational films. Adrian swept me into his arms. This is too narrow. Let's go to the bedroom. When we got to the bedroom and I saw the real thing, I started to stammer. Hey Adrian, maybe we should just forget it? My reaction made him laugh. Vivian, are you backing out of the inspection? I looked down at the thin layer of skin on my stomach. Only 4 words came to mind. You dug your own grave. Adrian chuckled softly and leaned over to button up my shirt. Vivian, in the future, don't bite off more than you can chew. Was he mocking me? Who says I can't handle it? I grabbed Adrian's hand, yanked hard, and tackled him onto the bed. I straddled him and bit down on that little beauty mark. A storm started raging outside. In a daze, I thought I saw an open nightstand drawer. Inside was a long, silver chain and a pair of pink leather handcuffs. They looked like they'd been there for a long time. My voice was hoarse. What are those for? Sweat dripped down my chest. Adrian's heavy breaths ghosted across my neck. To chain you up. Chain me up? What did that mean? Before I could think any further, a flash of white light exploded before my eyes, fierce and violent. I was finally woken up by a frantic knocking on the door. I squinted at the gap in the curtains. The rain had long stopped, the sky was bright. Beside me, I heard the rustle of clothes. Adrian's voice was very soft. You were up all night. Get some rest. I'll get the door. TCH, you're one to talk. I rolled over. What's it like to sleep with your former crush? Answer, your back hurts so much you feel like it's going to snap. Damn it, was Adrian a jackhammer in a past life? I could run a half marathon, and he still managed to make me pass out. But, to be fair, it was really, really good. Someone came in. Bro, why didn't you answer my texts last night? I froze. It was Larry. Larry asked impatiently, so? Did it go well last night? Yeah, it went well. He grabbed Adrian's hand. Bro, I owe you for this. For the rest of my life, the next life, and the life after that, I'll be your loyal servant. When I finally win over my dream girl, you have to be my best man. Adrian pulled his hand away, his voice cool. No need. What do you mean, no need? You've basically given me a new lease on life. Whoa. Bro, your neck. What happened last night? No wonder you didn't answer me. Larry gasped dramatically. Now that the deed is done, Dad will have to agree even if he doesn't want to. That's my brother for you. Fast, precise, and ruthless. I got out of bed and got dressed. My hand slipped, and my watch fell to the floor with a thud. What was that sound? Is Vivian still here? Adrian corrected him, call her your sister-in-law. You got it. Sister-in-law. I heard footsteps getting closer to the bedroom. Larry was excited. I should say hi to my future sister-in-law, make a good impression. Besides, my dream girl hasn't texted me back since last night. Since you're both girls, maybe my sister-in-law can give me some advice. Then, a knock on the bedroom door. Larry called out, "Sister-in-law, you in there?" "I'm coming in." "She's still sleeping. Don't bother her." Adrian's voice stopped him. The hand on the doorknob froze. "Whoa, bro. Getting protective already?" Larry's voice was teasing. "You two are getting along great." "Getting along great?" I smirked and opened the door myself. "It's okay. It's no bother. My sister-in-law is the best." Larry turned his head, smiling. The next second, the smile froze on his face. "Vivian? What are you doing here?" He looked past me into the room. "Where's Vivian?" I smiled. "That's me." "Impossible." Larry pushed past me and stormed into the bedroom. He tore open the closet doors, searching frantically. He even got on the floor and checked under the bed, determined to find a second person hiding in the room. "You can stop looking." I walked up to him and bent down, propping my hands on my knees. "I told you. It's me. Or, think about it. Why do you think Vivi hasn't texted you back since last night?" Larry was still on the floor. But his eyes were getting redder and redder. "Impossible. How can you be Vivian? Stop messing with me. This isn't a funny joke." He looked up at Adrian. "Bro, tell her, right?" Adrian walked over and pulled him up. "I've already told Dad about the change in fiancés. He's agreed. The engagement between me and the Johnstons will be announced next month." "We don't need to, bro." Larry grabbed his brother's hand, his voice urgent. "I made a mistake. She's the dream girl I told you about. I'll marry her myself." But the hickey on Adrian's neck was blinding. It stung his eyes. It made his gleeful excitement from minutes ago seem even more idiotic. "Larry, an engagement isn't a child's game. You can't just have it when you want it and toss it aside when you don't." Adrian pulled his hand away, his voice cold. "Why should I listen to you now?" Larry's eyes widened in disbelief. "Bro, what did you say?" Adrian looked up, his expression flat. "I said, Vivian's fiancé right now, is me. Bro, but I really, really like her. I've liked her for so many years." "I know." Larry froze. "You know?" Adrian didn't hold back, his eyes even held a hint of mockery. "Ever since you came to campus that one time to find me and ran into Vivi. Not only did you start hanging around me every day after school, you lost weight, you started copying my style. Did you think I was blind? If you knew, then why are you trying to steal her from me?" Larry's voice was hoarse as he grabbed Adrian's arm. "Bro, you've always let me have my way. Just let me have this one, please. I really love her." Adrian laughed coldly. "What makes you think I don't?" My heart skipped a beat. Holy shit. What kind of bombshell gossip was this? Adrian actually liked me? Then why didn't you say yes when she was chasing you? A second later, as if something dawned on him, Larry let out a sudden, cold laugh. "Because you didn't have the guts. Bro, you've been so perfect all these years. I almost forgot what a freak you really." "Larry." Adrian's sharp voice cut him off. Larry let go and grabbed the collar of Adrian's shirt. The air was instantly thick with tension. "Excuse me, gentlemen. What's all this about stealing and letting someone have something?" I sat on the edge of the bed, swinging my legs, and looked at the two of them with a little smile. I am the one getting married, after all. Aren't you going to ask my opinion? Larry was the first to react. He let go of Adrian, took 2 large strides, and crouched down at my feet. He blocked the path completely. He was tall and had that arrogant air about him. Usually, he was intimidating. But right now, he was like a tamed wolf, bowing his head. Vivian, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you before. He looked at me pitifully. I know I was wrong. Can you please just forgive me this one time? I nodded, my expression serious. Of course, I can. Larry's eyes lit up, as if he'd grabbed a lifeline. But I looked at him, a smile on my lips. We're just not a match. A giant boomerang, right between the eyes. Larry instantly panicked. He grabbed my hand, trying to explain, but I stood up, cutting him off. I walked over to Adrian. As for you. I paused, leaning in close to his ear. You didn't really think that just because I slept with you once, I'd quietly marry you, did you? I chased you for so long. Sleeping with you once just makes us even. I turned my head to look him in the eye. For the first time, in that perpetually calm face, I saw a blankness, maybe even helplessness. A wave of pure satisfaction washed over me. All right then. In a great mood, I put on my jacket like a guy who just had his fun and was now leaving. We can talk about the marriage later. I'm heading out. Bye. I left and took a cab straight to the Grand Royal Hotel. There was one presidential suite left on the 25th floor. The front desk quickly checked me in and handed me the key card. The key cards only worked for their designated elevator floor. And the 25th floor had 2 presidential suites. I went up and headed straight for the other one. Housekeeping. I knocked on the door, keeping my voice low. As expected, a familiar voice came from inside. We didn't call for housekeeping. There was a small issue with the sheets we changed for you this morning. I'm here to replace them. The door opened. The next second, it started to slam shut. I jammed my hand in the doorframe, a fake smile plastered on my face. Mom, Dad, fancy seeing you here. What are you two doing here? My dad let go of the door and started laughing awkwardly. His little mustache twitched. Sweetheart, you're back. When did you get in? You should have told me. I would have picked you up. I didn't answer, instead scanning the room. I thought our family was bankrupt. How can we afford a hotel this nice? A presidential suite, no less? Honey, don't be mad. My mom hugged my arm, whispering, your dad and I didn't have a choice. The Greens' offer was just too good. So you sold me? My dad grinned. Oh, come on, don't say sold. We checked out the kid. His body, his looks, he's definitely your type. I took a deep breath. Tell me. How much did you sell me for? My mom looked sheepish and held up 3 fingers. 30 million? My mom shook her head. 300 million? She shook her head again. I frowned. It can't be 3 billion, can it? My mom, it was 30 billion. A full $30 billion. Okay, I admit it. That's an offer you can't refuse. I brought my parents home from the hotel. It was the weekend, and scorching hot. I was curled up on the couch, stroking my fluffy cat. The financial news was on TV. The new CEO of Huawei Corporation signs a groundbreaking AI strategic partnership in the UK, marking the largest single deal in the domestic sector. I watched the man in the sharp suit on the screen. No wonder he'd been quiet the last couple of days. Mississippi. Our housekeeper, Sue, came back inside, sweating. Larry is here again. I kept petting my cat. Ignore him. Sue looked troubled. But it's so hot today. What if he faints from heatstroke? How would we explain that to the Greens? As if on cue, the universe delivered. The security guards doing their rounds in the neighborhood knocked on our door, carrying an unconscious Larry. I stood at the door, looking at the man in the guard's arms, his eyes closed but his eyelids twitching non-stop. I took a deep breath and stepped aside. Put him in the guest room. Seeing the situation, Sue rushed to get the first aid kit. Don't bother. I stopped her, turned around, and went to the kitchen. I grabbed 3 bitter melons from the fridge. I blended them without adding any water and carried the bowl to the guest room. Just as I reached the door, the bowl was taken from my hands. "I'll take it." I turned around. Adrian was standing behind me. His handsome eyes were bloodshot, with dark circles underneath. His crisp suit was wrinkled, as if he'd just rushed back and hadn't had time to rest. Sue was behind him, explaining to me, "This gentleman said he's Larry's older brother." I thought they looked alike, so... "It's fine, Sue. You can go back to your work." I looked at Adrian. "Weren't you in the UK?" Adrian licked his lips, which were a bit dry. Took the red eye. "Just got back." I nodded and stepped aside. Adrian opened the door and went in. He sat down on the edge of the bed. Larry's eyes were closed, but he felt the dip in the mattress. A secret joy filled his heart. He knew Vivian wouldn't ignore him. He spoke, his voice sticky sweet. "Vivian, my head hurts so much. Am I going to die? But if you could just give me a hug." The next second, his mouth was pried open forcefully. Something bitter and dry was mercilessly poured down his throat. Larry gagged, on the verge of throwing up, and his eyes flew open. In front of him wasn't his sweet Vivian, but his dear older brother. Larry shoved Adrian away, shot up, and grimaced. "What are you doing back?" Adrian slammed the bowl down on the nightstand. His face was emotionless. "If I didn't come back, were you going to just steal my girl?" Larry jumped off the bed. "Me, steal your girl? You're the shameless one. You knew Vivian was the one, and you still pretended to go along with it. Besides, you haven't even announced your engagement yet, so I still have a chance." Adrian's voice was low. "Say that again." Larry got right in Adrian's face, a smug grin on his. "And so what if you do announce it? A girl like her can handle more than one. If I can't be the main one, why can't I be the side piece? And once I'm the side piece, it's only a matter of time before I take over." A series of crashes and bangs came from the guest room. Sue looked worriedly at the closed door. "Miss." I buried my face in my cat's fur. My cat was the best, freshly bathed, fragrant, and soft. I stood up, holding my cat. "Sue, could you please go in there in a bit, take inventory of the damages, and then bill them for 10 times the original purchase price?" When I woke up from my nap, I was presented with a long itemized list totaling $30,000. I felt fantastic. As for my 2 personal ATMs, they were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, faces sullen. Since they had already spent $30,000, of course they could stay for dinner. I agreed immediately. I gave Sue $5,000 of it. After all, she'd spent the afternoon taking inventory and doing the math. And now she had to cook extra dishes for dinner. She deserved it. When it was time for dinner, my parents sat across from me as usual. Except now, Adrian was on my left, and Larry was on my right. The atmosphere at the table was exceptionally weird. Only my dad seemed oblivious. He poured glass after glass of white wine. His eyes were filled with nothing but admiration for Adrian. "Adrian, my boy, that UK project was brilliantly done. I'm truly impressed." My dad's face was flushed. "Come on, have another glass." Adrian glanced at a scornful-looking Larry. He raised his glass, his tone humble. "I hope to learn a lot more from you in the future, sir." My dad laughed heartily. "Excellent, excellent. Mature and stable. What's so mature and stable about him?" Larry viciously poked at the fish in his bowl, gritting his teeth. "He's just an old man." I glanced at him. Larry immediately caught my eye and his expression softened. "Vivian, don't date an old man. He can't perform." I didn't answer, just said flatly, "Eat your dinner." Larry glared at Adrian, who was chatting happily with my dad. No, he couldn't just sit here and do nothing. He might not be as good at business as Adrian, and he couldn't catch up in the short term. But he was young, a full 6 years younger than Adrian. Vivian. Larry leaned in and whispered, so no one else could hear. If I pretend to leave with my brother later, will you let me back in tonight? I have a present I want to give you. Adrian had been drinking. Larry refused to be the driver. In the end, the Greens sent a car to pick them up. I played a few rounds of a game, took a shower, and by then, it was almost 1 in the morning. I hadn't taken Larry's words seriously and was about to go to sleep. Behind the closed curtains, I heard a faint rustling sound. A gust of wind blew in. Then, a dark figure vaulted nimbly through the window. Holy shit. I shot up in bed, my heart pounding. Vivian, it's me. I turned on the light. Larry was standing by my bed, wearing a sleeveless tank top that showed off his bulging arm muscles. His hair was messy, and there was a smudge of dirt on his forehead from who knows where. His eyes were sparkling as he looked at me, like a large dog that had snuck in. Most importantly, he actually had a big, fluffy dog tail that was wagging behind him. I was stunned. What are you doing? Larry knelt on my bed and looked up at me. Vivian, I'm 6 years younger than my brother. Give me a try, please. I'm very useful. Definitely more useful than him. As he said it, his ears turned bright red. Even his neck started to flush. I instantly understood his intentions. Time to play with the puppy. I feigned a dilemma. But you warned me not to cheat, or you'd kill me. Larry retorted, you're not actually with my brother. But I am his fiancée, officially. Larry deflated. Oh, right. Wait. I'm not a person right now. I'm a dog. The light returned to his intense face. The tail behind him seemed to sense his renewed hope and started wagging furiously. Larry grabbed the tail and placed it in my hand. Vivian, it's okay to play with a dog. That's not cheating. Woof, woof woof, woof woof woof. What the fuck? You've got to be kidding me. But, I just got my period. When I woke up the next morning, Larry was gone. The blankets on the floor were neatly folded and placed on a chair. I stretched and went downstairs for breakfast. Since I was the only one living on the ground floor, no one had noticed Larry's visit last night. As for the main gate, Larry said my cat had let him in. So, they really were the same species. I sat down and had just finished half a bowl of porridge when the Greens called. After I heard what they had to say, my vision went black. I drove straight to the Greens' mansion. Both Adrian and Larry had bruised faces. But Larry was clearly in worse shape. And the tail Larry had used to try and win me over last night was now clutched in his father's hand. My vision went black again. Larry looked at his 2 sons and snorted. So neither of you wants to talk, is that it? Butler, you tell me. The butler stammered, well, sir, I didn't hear everything clearly. Larry thumped his dragon-headed cane on the floor. Thump, thump. Speak. Tell me what you know. Well, the young master came back early this morning and was caught by the eldest master, and then they started arguing. The butler swallowed hard. The young master said he was younger than the eldest master, and that the eldest master couldn't out-seduce him. And then the eldest master said, if you're so seductive, then why didn't she sleep with you? Disgraceful. Both of you are a disgrace. A vase by his hand shattered on the floor. Larry was red with fury. The next second, he turned to look at me, cowering in the corner. Vivian, please come with me to my study. Hey, can I get your number? I shook my head. It was peak season in Hawaii, and the beach was crowded. Chloe took a sip of her orange juice and teased, you just left like that. Those 2 brothers must be going crazy looking for you. I took off my sunglasses. But I took $15 billion from their dad. You take the money, you solve the problem. Originally, Larry just thought Larry had a crush on me and wanted me to tame his explosive temper. But now, 2 brothers are at each other's throats over a woman. The Greens would never allow that. Chloe clicked her tongue. So you really don't like either of them at all? Oh, I like them, I said, kissing my phone. But isn't $15 billion so much better? Chloe frowned. I have a feeling they're not going to give up that easily. Don't worry. I had someone erase all my travel records. They'll never find me. The next second, Chloe grabbed my arm. Look. Those two guys, don't they look familiar? I followed her gaze. It wasn't a matter of looking familiar. Shit. I'm so screwed.